Welcome back to the deep dive, where we take the sources you shared and give you the knowledge you need without the information overload. If you're listening to this, chances are you're someone who is, used to tackling challenges head on, maybe even proud of how hard you work.
And that's exactly the story we're challenging today. We're diving into this deeply embedded cultural script that dictates success and growth and achievement must come with suffering. That core belief that, you got to struggle to make it.
It really is the cultural default, isn't it?
Totally.
Every motivational poster, every success story, it seems to be built on this foundation of bleeding, sweating, grinding. We hear it constantly. Nothing worth having comes easy.
Mm-hmm.
Our source material raises a really fascinating, almost subversive question. Is struggle a necessary law of the universe, or is it just a story we've become addicted to, almost by design?
And that's the mission for this deep dive. We're going to extract the surprising insights from your reading list about deliberately choosing flow and grace and ease, and more importantly, understanding how that choice isn't softness. It's actually incredibly strategic. It's fundamentally countercultural.
Okay, let's unpack that with the source material's most provocative claim right up front. What if the goal isn't just surviving the grind, but recognizing that we're actually worshiping the grind so much that we've completely forgotten how to receive ease? Like, we're so busy pushing that rock uphill, we don't even notice the paved road right next to us.
It's a huge realization when it lands. I mean, if you really analyze the economics of our modern, hyperproductive society, the sources make a strong case for this. The entire system is, in many ways, designed to profit directly from our constant struggle, from our exhaustion, and that feeling that we're perpetually behind.
Wait, hold on. Designed to profit, that's a big claim. You don't just mean like selling coffee to tired people.
Right. Oh, it's much deeper than that. Far from it. Think about where the money flows when people are struggling. You have these massive industries built around fixing burnout. You've got consultants, expensive wellness retreats, productivity apps. And they aren't designed to simplify your work, but to help you manage a load that's fundamentally unmanageable. The whole self-help industrial complex thrives on you feeling broken and needing to strive harder to fix yourself. Struggle drives so much consumerism.
So that's where it gets strategic. If the external system is basically engineered to encourage struggle because it's profitable, then choosing ease becomes, well, an act of personal defiance.
Precisely. And therefore, the most powerful strategic thing you can do is to redesign your personal operating system around flow and grace and then call that success. It completely reframes achievement. It's not a trophy for endurance anymore. It's proof of intelligent, deliberate design. You're winning by optimizing, not by exhausting yourself.
Okay, so if that's the goal, let's move into the defense mechanisms. Because the sources are clear that this struggle trap starts deep in the mind. It's one thing to talk about external systems, but it's the psychological sabotage that really keeps us locked in.
It absolutely does. The central concept here, psychologically, is that our core belief system actively dictates the reality we perceive. So if your fundamental unchallenged belief is it must be hard, then your entire operating system, your mind, your energy, your focus, is only going to recognize and attract hard paths, no matter how many easy ones exist.
So we aren't just accepting struggle, we're actively constructing it. But how does that work in practice? I mean, if an easy solution pops up, why would my brain just reject it?
This is such a critical insight from the research. The deep-seated struggle story acts like a filter. So when an easy solution presents itself, maybe a colleague offers to help or a software update just solves a task you've been working on for weeks, your mind immediately generates suspicion. You don't trust the easy door, because you believe the only door that leads to real achievement has to require, maximum effort and bleeding knuckles.
I see that. It's like the brain goes, wait, this isn't hard enough, so it can't be real success.
Exactly. And that suspicion, it ties directly into the psychological hook that keeps us trapped, our identity. Struggle is so tied up in who we believe we are. For so many of us, our entire self-concept is built around being the one who overcame the odds.
We've all been handed that script where struggle is the hero of the story. So what happens to your sense of self if you're suddenly not the one who overcame? That feeling of worth, the pride, the testimony, it's also deeply valued.
It's heavy. You're basically asking people to give up their foundational narrative. For many, the struggle validates their pain. If they let go of that, they feel like they're invalidating everything they went through to get where they are. That identity, that testimony, it's like their currency.
Right. But the sources suggest we don't have to erase the past struggle. We just need to upgrade the narrative. We need a new testimony, one looking forward.
And that shift is so powerful. The testimony doesn't have to be, look what I survived and
Mhm.
endured.
Mhm.
It can be redefined to celebrate intentionality. Look what I chose. Look what I allowed. Look how good I consciously designed this to get.
Mhm.
It moves the focus from, reacting to trauma and suffering to leading with conscious choice and open reception. That's a fundamentally different way to live.
Okay, so if the struggle trap starts in the mind, the next step is designing a strategy to get out. That brings us to segment two, becoming the architect of ease. We keep using that word, aloud. What do the sources really mean when they talk about the frequency of receiving? Is that just, motivational fluff, or is there a real mechanism there?
That's a crucial question. And the source material grounds it in a physical and energetic metaphor that I think makes a lot of sense. Ease requires allowing.
Yeah.
Think of it less like magic and more like attention management. Opportunities, ideas, connections, they don't just happen. They arrive when you're on a frequency of openness and expectation, not one of resistance.
You mean shifting our attention from anticipating all the problems to identifying the resources?
Precisely. The imagery in the source is fantastic. It says you cannot receive a gift with a clenched fist. If you are constantly braced for struggle, if your hands are clenched, ready to fight the next thing, you are physically incapable of holding a soft idea or an insight or a helping hand.
So you're literally rejecting the easy path because your body is optimized for combat. The energy of fighting and the energy of receiving are they're mutually exclusive states.
Okay, so tactically, how do you unclench that fist?
You start with what the sources call the dangerous question. This is practical step number one. It's deceptively simple, but it's incredibly potent because it bypasses that struggle filter we were just talking about. And that question is,
What if this could be easy? And here's the key.
yeah,
You don't immediately try to figure out how, you just ask the question. You just allow your mind to start searching for an answer it might have previously filtered out as being too simple or too lucky.
I can hear a listener right now thinking, but if I ask that, I'm afraid I'll just become lazy or complacent. If I stop striving, won't my competition just walk right past me?
And that's a legitimate concern, but it misunderstands ease as idleness. Ease in this context is intelligence. It's about efficiency, about leverage, not about lying down. When you ask, what if this could be easy? You're demanding that your mind find the optimal leverage point. You're asking for the smartest route, not the one that demands the most sweat.
So we apply it to those daily tasks that feel sticky, like, what if this difficult quarterly report could be easy? Or what if I could navigate this complex family conversation with ease?
Yes, and we apply it to the big picture things too, like financial goals. What if this money could come to me with grace and ease? The whole goal is to shift your inner dialogue from resistance and force to possibility and flow.
Okay, but let's address the inevitable counterargument, because this is often the biggest mental block. Someone hears this and says, this feels disrespectful. My parents, my grandparents, they worked 3 jobs just to put food on the table. They had to struggle.
That is such a crucial point, and we have to connect it to the bigger picture. The answer from the sources is clear. Honoring past struggle means not insisting on repeating it. The greatest tribute you can possibly give to those who built that foundation for you is actually use it to build something better, not just relaying the same bricks over and over.
So they were the builders. They laid the painful groundwork. And now our job is to become the architects.
Exactly. The builders created the conditions for safety, for possibility. The architect's job is to design a new, lighter, smarter blueprint based on that hard-won stability. We're not dismissing their sacrifice at all, we're leveraging it.
And the first line on that new blueprint.
Struggle is not a mandatory prerequisite for success. It is merely an option. And as the architect of your own life, you have the right to choose differently.
That is a powerful choice to make. Let's move to segment 3 and look at the concrete actions for rewriting this script. Because, choosing differently sounds simple, but it flies in the face of decades of conditioning.
It is, as the source material puts it, the hardest simple thing you'll ever do. It requires you to confront and fight the ghost of a story, that persistent societal whisper that you don't deserve good things unless you've suffered for them.
It's time we stop seeing ease as some kind of loophole or a trick that we have to apologize for finding.
It's not a loophole. The source material is adamant on this. Ease is your natural state. It's your birthright.
So if we accept this architectural role and we're committed to voting for ease, what's the most immediate practical step we can take to start today? This is practical step number 2 for our listener.
The most immediate, impactful thing you can do is conduct a detailed language audit. For one full day, You have to listen almost forensically to the words coming out of your mouth and even the thoughts in your head when you're faced with a challenge.
Okay, we need a clear list of the words to eliminate. What are they?
You eliminate all phrases that imply war or combat or massive resistance. Things like, this is a struggle, I'm fighting with this, I'm buried under this, or just the common one, this is so hard.
Hmm.
Every time you use that language, you are casting a definitive vote for the difficulty. You're anchoring yourself to the struggle. You're reaffirming that ghost story.
But wait, what if I genuinely am struggling? If I'm overwhelmed and it feels hard? Are you just suggesting I should lie to myself?
That's the perfect question. You acknowledge the feeling, but you change the vote.
Yeah.
You're not lying. You're refusing to narrate your struggle as the final outcome. You are actively changing the testimony you're building in the moment.
Okay, so what are the replacement phrases? How do we change that vote?
Instead of saying you're fighting, try saying, I'm navigating this challenge. Instead of I'm buried, maybe, I'm prioritizing my next step. Instead of it's so hard, try I'm discovering a smoother way with this.
Yeah.
You're actively declaring that the challenge is temporary and navigable, not a fundamental state of being.
And this works even if I feel cynical about it, even if I don't really believe the new language yet.
Yes, absolutely. You don't have to believe it at first. You just have to choose the words. The mechanism is actually profoundly simple. The feeling will follow the language. The simple act of choosing softer, more resourceful words gives your nervous system permission to stand down from red alert.
And that's the crucial benefit, that constant background cortisol, that low-grade stress.
Uh,
That's what blinds us to the simple solutions in the first place.
exactly. When your nervous system is finally in a state of calm, you create the psychological space you need to see the clever, graceful path that you were simply too stressed to see before. The solution was probably there all along, but you were physically incapable of recognizing it while you were busy trying to prove your endurance.
So the final distinction we should take from the source material is this simple rule of thumb. Stop trying to prove how strong you are by insisting on taking the hardest route.
And start proving how smart and intentional you are by taking the most optimized, effective, and best one.
That brings us to the close of this deep dive. We challenged the deeply embedded script that mandates suffering for success. We uncovered the psychological trap of the overcomer identity, and we provided a new strategic blueprint, the architect of ease. We have two key tools for this: the dangerous question, what if this could be easy? And the immediate practical step of auditing and upgrading your daily language.
It all comes down to realizing that struggle isn't a prerequisite for success. It's just a very costly and unnecessary option.
So what does this all mean for you as you move forward and try to apply this knowledge?
If we accept that the system is expertly designed to profit from your exhaustion, your overwhelm, your constant striving, I want you to consider this. What small intentional act of grades or flow could you introduce into your day tomorrow that would serve as your personal defiant act of success? Think about what you could consciously let go of just for 24 hours. That's the moment the architect stops laying old bricks and finally draws a new, intelligent blueprint.